Here are 8 driving tips that can help you avoid accidents on the road. Tip 1. Avoid texting while driving and use hands-off features when making calls. The simple act of sending a text or dialing a number may take 5 seconds, but a car going 60 miles per hour will travel more than the length of a football field in that time. 46 states already have ordinances in place that prohibit texting while driving, and other states prohibit the use of handheld electronic devices altogether while driving. Regardless of state laws, drivers should mitigate cell phone distractions when possible by simply stowing phones away while driving. Drivers can also use Do Not Disturb features on their smartphones that discourage cell phone use while at driving speeds. Tip 2. Avoid being distracted with the car's system while driving. In 2010, the U.S. Department of Transportation found that focusing on internal objects within a car was one of the most frequent sources of distraction for drivers. It can be tempting to mess with the car's radio, air conditioning, or other features while driving, but drivers should still keep their hands on the wheel and their attentions on the road whenever possible. Tip 3. Minimize eating or drinking while driving. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA, eating behind the wheel decreases a driver's reaction time by 44%. Likewise, drinking a beverage behind the wheel makes drivers 18% more likely to have poor lane control. Eating a sandwich or drinking coffee while driving is definitely convenient, but drivers are also potentially endangering themselves, their passengers, and people in other vehicles by doing so. Tip 4. Avoid drowsy driving. Speaking of drinking coffee, if you're feeling excessively sleepy or fatigued, it might not be the best idea to get behind the wheel. This is because the NHTSA estimates that drowsy driving is responsible for over 70,000 crashes, 44,000 injuries, and anywhere from 800 to 6,000 fatal crashes every year. Tip 5. Keep vehicles maintained. Most drivers have seen their dashes light up when their car needs some kind of maintenance. When this happens, drivers should be vigilant about addressing the problems as soon as possible to avoid complications or hazards in the future. Tip 6. Double-check mirrors before starting the engine. Data from the NHTSA indicates that nearly 840,000 blind spot accidents occur each year. Many of these accidents are partly due to drivers failing to properly adjust their mirrors. It's therefore important to double-check your mirrors before starting the engine, especially because side mirrors can easily be knocked out of position. Tip 7. Don't let passengers distract you from the road. In 2010, according to the U.S. Department of Transportation, conversing with a passenger was the primary source of internal distraction for drivers in crashes. Having passengers in the car is therefore a significant source of internal distraction, but it's also unavoidable. Regardless, drivers can do their best to mitigate the source of distraction by removing themselves from conversations, especially when driving in difficult traffic patterns or on unfamiliar roads. Drivers should also do their best to limit distractions from dogs and other non-human passengers in their car. Tip 8. Be prepared for inclement weather. Rain, snow, wind, or sleet can all affect road safety. Fortunately, drivers can prepare themselves by looking at forecasts in advance and heeding weather warnings. It's also helpful for drivers to be well-versed in how to handle their vehicles during inclement weather. For example, hydroplaning is a serious risk for cars on wet roads. Drivers should be familiar with the steps to recover from hydroplaning. These steps can include easing off the gas pedal and braking slowly.